Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Quixote and Lewis. Let's mark out.
You know what time it is. What's up, baby? It is your boy, Quixote, on this On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, episode 57, joined by my boy, Lewis. Lewis, what's going on, man?
The administrator is back, and I couldn't be happier because we have our honorary co-host, our special guest, the one and only Streaming Motherfucking Joe.
Streaming Joe.
Thank you.
Oh, look at that. You got some.
Thank you. Happy to be here once again.
You got some love. You got some love for the crowd, Joe. What's up,
amazing.
Man? Thank you for joining us, man.
Of course, man. Anytime. I love doing this stuff. So thank you guys for having me again.
Well, we appreciate you, bro. We appreciate you. As always, this episode we're bringing you, what the wrestling this week was crazy.
It was.
And it gives us something to talk about. There's stuff happening. Wrestling's cool again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All that good stuff. But let me tell you about. I'm going to jump right into it. I know you fellas have probably seen it, but that spooky-ish that happened on Raw.
You mean when everyone got murdered backstage?
Basically, everyone was killed, dead.
Actual murder
In front of our the Wyatt Sicks一introduction was bananas. I gotta tell you, one of the most well-produced segments of a, I guess, supernatural-esque faction, right? So on Monday, if you missed it, guys, the end of the show, and it was weird because I picked up on it. The main event ended like 3 or 4 minutes early.
Yeah.
And if you know Raw and all the history, they are timing things to the T. So the fact that that match ended that early, you knew something was going to go down. And as soon as the lights went out, cameras take you to the back. It looked like one of those horror houses that you go to during Halloween. That joint was. I sat up there. I was like, "Yo, this is bananas." What did you guys think?
Something told me to tune into Raw for the main event because I kept on reading the rumor mills and all the media, the social media comments are talking about, we're finally going to have them Monday, like right after Clash at the Castle. So I tuned into the beginning of the Raw and I caught bits and pieces of it and I checked out for about an hour. But then I'm like, let me just stick around because I don't typically watch Raw in real time throughout the whole duration of when it's on the air. I just don't.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I stuck around because the main event ends. Jey Uso is celebrating his victory and he's advancing to the Money in the Bank ladder match. Then all of a sudden we get the lights out and all of that. When Nikki Cross comes out, that shit was creepy. And I loved it because I'm a big horror aficionado myself. I love horror. I love all of that. Now, within the confines of pro wrestling, it's hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a very well-produced segment. How the camera took you through ultimately what was a haunted house tour.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, like a murder mansion tour.
Murder mansion. That's exactly what. Yeah.
You got this poor fuck Chad Gable with
what
seemingly was a bullet to the head. I mean, it was some of it was cheesy, right? Because it's like I can't believe that these dudes just committed homicide, essentially, right? Like you got bodies on top of bodies piled up. But I think the reveal of each member of the Wyatt Sicks group was very, very well done. It felt spooky. It felt creepy. It felt ominous. Like I said, just a tad bit cheesy, but I can live with that, right?
Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, I thought it was very effective, and it was a very strong hook for the remainder of the week on social media because that's all everybody's been talking about. Yeah. And now we got the follow-up on Raw. So I remain cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
Cautiously optimistic. I don't think it may not set the world on fire like all the fans want. Yes, I get it. It's under Triple H's direction. I do understand that.
Right.
However, supernatural gimmicks, like I said before, they're hit and miss, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how well this is going to. Let's just put it this way: I don't know if they can keep up with the consistency of it before it starts to fizzle out.
Right.
But
Right.
overall, job well done. I thought it was the second best ending to Raw this year, behind Final Boss beating up Cody Rhodes.
What did you think? How about you, Joe? What did you think?
Yeah, nah, I'm kind of on the same boat as Lewis. Like, I'm not really the biggest fan of the supernatural stuff in wrestling because I just feel like it's hard to translate that to the actual in-ring stuff.
Yeah.
Like, even like the Fiend, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Fiend. I'm a big fan of Bray Wyatt, but like the Fiend character was like a little too much for me. Maybe if I was a kid, it would be scary. But like now it's like, what do you do? Like, I still need to see you get in the ring and do some grabs at the end of the day. So what are you gonna do with the character? But like Lewis said, the reveal was amazing. The actual like slow, like I love how Nikki Ash came out, Nikki Cross, whatever her name is, and she pointed towards the door, and that's the first time that we ever gone through that door. Like, because Bray Wyatt came through that door when he came back, but we never seen what's behind that door.
Yes. Yep.
So now we got to see what's behind that door, and it was pure chaos, right? Like, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I think there's a lot of potential with it, with the whole thing, but like if they don't like do something that has to like do with actual in ring, I don't know how far it could go,
Yeah,
but
man.
For now, it was a crazy reveal, and like all the masks look dope.
Yeah.
The costumes look amazing, and I like how it's all part of like the Funhouse. Like, they're all characters from the Funhouse, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, we'll get to see what happens next. But I wonder if anything happens on SmackDown too, or are we just gonna pretend like nothing happened on SmackDown?
See, that's my fear, is that we go into next week and they are business as usual, as if as nothing just happened on the end of Raw, right? So, they got to address the fact that your boy Chad Gable is dead. They got to address that the backstage gorilla area was completely destroyed. Yeah. They have to address it, because if they don't, that's a huge mistake on this entire creative part. My thing with the supernatural joint, man, I'm like you. I don't love it, because it's going out of the confines of your wrestling bubble in a way, right? Like, I like the creative factor of the Fiend, but I wasn't a fan of the Fiend in the ring. I wasn't a fan of the Fiend matches like that. I remember, I think I was talking to Lewis when the John Cena match and Bray Wyatt joint, that whole cinematic thing. I hated it. I'm sorry. Maybe I don't know if I was the other one. I hated it. I
actually like that, but I think it was just because it was during like the pandemic, so they had to work with what they could.
Yeah, I hated it, bro.
I liked it for that aspect, but it was definitely not wrestling really at the end of the day.
It was just
I didn't care for it either.
It was just not my thing. So I just wonder how they're going to integrate this group into a normal wrestling storyline. They don't have to be main event. They don't have to be. They shouldn't be in the main event. They should be like mid card to mid card kind of thing, right? Like, they don't have to be in the main event. So I just wonder where they're going to be slotted. Now, the group is solid. I mean, you got Dexter Lumis, you got Nikki Ash, you got the dude from NXT,
Joe Gacy,
and Rowan, which is pretty solid. I wonder because we're going to find out who they are essentially. I wonder how they're going to explain the story behind how they're going to do this is just going to be very fascinating. Like, are they going to explain that these are those wrestlers that have gone to this side? Are they going to pretend that they've never been wrestlers before and now they're just these new people? I just wonder how they're going to address all of this stuff. I guess we'll see, though. It was solid, though. I got to give it them. Production was not playing on this. They executed that with the spark that went off in the gorilla. Yo.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, yo, this is clapping.
The cool thing too is they've been slowly like showing us backstage a lot more like recently. Right. So like I think that was purposely because they knew this was coming. So like you know how this place looks normally. Now look how it looks in pure chaos, right?
In pure
There's
chaos.
Murdered bodies everywhere.
Murdered. And rumors are like I think Gunther was one of them on the ground.
That's what I heard. It didn't look like him too much, but I don't know.
was it Sheamus also? Like, was it rumors that Sheamus was also there? So, like, it was just wild,
bro. It looked like the entire locker room.
There was officials.
It looked like the
referees.
It looked like a lot of like the black shirt security guards that they be having. So I'm like, yeah, it was probably just a bunch of jobbers.
Yeah, they probably
right.
Now those jobbers, they're probably dead for real. So they're probably dead.
We'll never see them again.
Yeah, they probably really killed them off. But yeah, man, I got to give it to them, man. WWE, man, yo. With this injection of the Wyatt Sicks or whatever name they're going to go out, what's even funnier is that they had merch as soon as this happened. The merch went like the production assistant is sitting by their only job is to hit enter so that it goes live at 11 o'clock. That all you have to do is just hit enter and now merch is up and they're selling. So I'm very curious. Now there was only 5 of them. I wonder if Alexa Bliss will be the 6th because that's essentially the big rumor. It's Alexa Bliss. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not. I would be surprised if it's not. So
that's been a hot
curious.
topic too since Monday. Who's the 6th member? If there is a 6th member, do you keep it as Bray Wyatt? The late great Bray Wyatt is the 6th member, and he's just the entity that's overseeing the group in spirit, or is there an actual 6th member like an Alexa Bliss or whoever it is?
Yeah.
It's a fine line. That's why I'm cautiously optimistic, because as hot as that ending to Raw was and as great as it looked, and it's going to be talked about forever, I think that they got to be very careful with how they present themselves, again, within the confines of a pro wrestling universe. Mm-hmm. So what is your mission statement when you cut your promo? Hey, I'm Uncle Howdy. Am I here to just go around killing people, like figuratively? Yeah. Or am I going to want my group to establish their dominance by winning matches and winning championships and headlining PLEs? Are we just gonna linger around and fuck shit up? You know what I mean? Yeah. Because the Bray Wyatt, as much as I love the Wyatt family, within, I'm gonna say 7 months or so, you start to see it fall apart a little bit because there's just no purpose. Right. Like, the vignettes are hot, the promos are hot, but what is the purpose of this group? What is the purpose of the Bray Wyatt character?
Yeah. Now this may be different because now Triple H is in full control of this, right? Before it was Vince and Bray. And Bray was not. Bray had to be, he had to be corralled a little bit. Like he was a little. Bray's ideas was like beyond anything they kind of wanted to do or thought was even feasible or made sense. So now that H is doing this and it's under the control of H and some other, big time creatives now that are writing for the show, this could be very different. And I think I'm with you, Lewis. I'm cautiously optimistic about this. Like I'm walking into it. You got me now. Let's see what happens in the next few weeks. If Monday, that Raw show needs to start with like, well, guys, this happened last week, and you need to. It needs to be something. Yeah, there needs to be like
10 bell salute.
10 bell salute. Yeah, man. His singlet gets raised to the rafters. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like there needs to be some explanation.
Yeah, it's like the weird thing about like the supernatural gimmicks is like eventually they have to lose, right? Yeah. And then once they lose, it's like I feel like a lot of the steam just loses. Like with that, like I think with the Wyatt family, they were so good in NXT because they were like the tag team. Brody and Eric Rowan were like destroying the tag team division. Yeah. Bray Wyatt, week after week, he wasn't really wrestling too much in NXT, but week after week he had the mic and he was dropping bombs like every single week. But then as soon as they came up to the main card, they lost to like Cena within like a couple months. Yeah, and it was like all the steam just left, like because they're like you talk a big talk, but then you lose right away. So I wonder, like, I don't know, like if I'm Triple H or if we're Triple H, would you have this team or this group, this faction, whatever you want to call them, would you have them wrestle often, or would it be like they are just there to be that spookiness, that variety show? We have some scary stuff here, we have some fun stuff here, but they don't really wrestle often. I feel like that's kind of where they should go.
Yeah, I don't see them wrestling often. They can't. I don't know.
I don't see them wrestling often either, but they have to remember it's pro wrestling. And because it's under Triple H's control since WrestleMania 40, they've kind of stopped using the term sports entertainment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yes, it is entertainment. We understand that. But at the end of the day, if I am a paying customer, I am paying to see pro wrestling. I want theatrics to a certain degree. Right. But I want pro wrestling, because if I want all the other supernatural stuff, if I want horror, then I'm just gonna open up my Shudder app and watch a classic horror movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with it. Yeah, it's fine if you want to have them as special attractions, but at the end of the day, it is wrestling, so you gotta have them. It's bizarre to me just picturing Uncle Howdy in a match, like with the mask and everything. Like I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around that. I don't know if it's just me.
No, it's not just you. I'm very curious on how that works in the ring, right? Like he's got a full on Halloween getup. Like it's like, you know, like does he take one stiff boot and the face mask flies off and some shit? Like, I mean, I'm just wondering how this works in the ring. I'm going to leave it up to them. But listen, I'm going to tell you right now, fellas, we're going to know within the first 2 months how this is going to be. Like,
oh yeah, SummerSlam is around the corner.
Yeah, it's going to be very clear if this is a go or a bust. Like, it's going to be very clear. I think the crowd is going to let you know too. So, we shall see. I want to move on to another topic. Yeah. Something big happened on Raw, and we lost another person on Raw. Your boy Drew McIntyre quit the company.
Oh boy,
he just couldn't take any more of that damn CM Punk.
That's crazy that's not even the biggest news from Raw.
I know, right? You would think that would be like the headline.
Your boy CM Punk has caused so much mental distress for your boy Drew McIntyre that he quit the company and walked out.
CM Punk is a cancer, man. Cancer to locker.
Where do we go with Drew and Punk, man? What's the deal with this? How does this play out? Is Punk now the heel? Is Punk the heel? Like, is you can't show up to Scotland and low blow him, like give him the kick to the nuts, and then think that you're the baby in this, like the baby face. Like, there's no way you could think that. So where's this? Where do we go with this? Is this the big payoff at SummerSlam?
Well, I mean, yeah, the payoff is at SummerSlam. I think him being a heel, that was a one-off just because it was in Drew's hometown. Yeah. You know, I think he was a heel for that night, right? But it's very clear that Drew is the heel, Punk is the babyface, and Punk is still, well, he's not slated to wrestle at Money in the Bank. So they're obviously just going to have their blow-off match at SummerSlam. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it. I don't right now, as I'm speaking, I don't really care for CM Punk.
Well, wow.
I'm just saying it. Look, I've liked CM Punk historically. I've liked CM Punk, you know what I'm saying? Especially when he was real hot in 2011, 2012. You remember, Joe, around the time I met you, we were I was really into CM Punk. However, I'm kind of over it. I'm over it. I'm just over CM Punk. It's not so much that I hate him. I don't have any malice towards him, and I know that he draws money. I just don't really care for him in this day and age. I just don't. So that's why for me, I want Drew to kick his face in. I mean, that's just because it's like the same shit. Even when he went to AEW, right? He would return, get hurt within like 3 months. Then he would come back and get hurt again or get suspended. Then he comes back at the Royal Rumble, tears. It's like
you're
his body just doesn't hold up anymore. So what's the real draw here? You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of over. CM Punk doesn't really do much for me anymore.
I kind of agree with you, Lewis. He hasn't been in the ring enough for me to even care.
He hasn't had a match, right? Like an actual match in WWE.
Yeah, and his body's made of paper mache anyway. So like, I don't even know if he can even go in a full match and make it look good. Like, I feel what you're saying. I'm gonna give it a little more time, because his injury was unfortunate. I think if he wasn't injured, I think we would be thinking of him a little differently. But
Yeah.
maybe you not, Lewis. I don't think you haven't been high on him much, even when he was in AEW, right? Like,
Nah, I liked his work in AEW, but I think like with all the distractions from the all out brawl, and it left a bad. And I'm not saying that it's his fault. It just him being involved in it just left a bad taste in my mouth, because not only was it bad for AEW, it's bad for wrestling. Like period.
Same.
And I it goes back to CM Punk just kind of thinking a little too highly of himself all the time, taking himself too serious. And again, I've liked CM Punk. It's not that I hate him. I don't really care for seeing him as a top guy, if you will.
Right.
Like if they, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with him after this whole Drew program. Like, is he going to be in title matches? Is he going to carry the belt? I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts, Joe, because
I mean, I kind of feel the same way about Punk. Like, definitely ever since the infamous press conference, I just feel like what does he stand for, right? Because before it was always like, I'm the voice of the voiceless, all this stuff. But now I kind of feel like he just stands for himself. And it's kind of been that way since he left WWE originally. Because he left WWE, he went on that podcast with Cole Cabana, went crazy talking about how everything was crappy and nothing's ever going to be good there, blah, blah, blah. Then he comes back when wrestling's hot, goes to AEW, loves it at first. Then something goes wrong. We don't know what went wrong. Maybe he wasn't the right, but you don't go on a press conference and just shit on the whole damn company.
Yeah,
like, that's not how you're going to, like, he's only thinking about himself in that moment. Even if you have all of these grievances, you're now putting the whole company at stake because you're having these grievances, and you're doing that on a live in front of your boss. Like, and I get it, Tony Khan should have stepped in, whatever. But yo, you just made it awkward for everybody. And now and then you got injured too that same night. You won the title, got injured. Like, you just ruined the storylines for weeks, like years, whatever it was. And now you come back to WWE and you get injured in your first match in the Royal Rumble. Like, so it's like, what's going on here? What are you really standing for? I do agree that I think Drew should probably win that first initial match just to show, like, I've been here, you haven't. Because if not, you're going to let this guy walk in and be one of your top guys. Like, it feels weird, right?
Right.
And especially someone who hasn't, in WWE world, he hasn't been active, right? So, like, fans who only watch WWE, this guy left for years, came back, he's going to beat one of your top guys like nothing. That doesn't make sense booking-wise to me. I think in the like, long-term thing, though, I do see it being like a trilogy of matches most likely, and maybe he ends up winning the feud overall. I don't want to see him with a belt because I don't trust him with a belt because he gets injured all the time. But if it is that case and it ends up being like a Punk Rollins or something, I think later on down the road, that could be cool. It's just like you said, I don't know if I am willing to watch Punk like freaking get gassed in a 20-minute match and at SummerSlam, you know, like he's an old guy and it's not his fault. He left wrestling for 7 years. It's not easy to come back and try to just do that like nothing. So it's not his fault or nothing, but it's just like, what is he really standing for anymore? You're now just a rich guy. You're not really that guy that's trying to top John Cena. You are the top guy at this point. So it's like, what do you want now, right? You gotten everything in two different companies. He's gotten everything he wanted, and somehow it's still not enough, right? So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I agree with you, fellas. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they do book Punk. I think Punk I think he still has some star power. Obviously, fans still love him. I got to see him in 2 matches though, and you guys mentioned it. I got to see him in the Drew match, and I got to see him in Rollins. That has to happen.
I want to see him against Gunther, but I think he'll never recover.
He'll never. Oh my God,
Gunther would kill him.
Oh God, Gunther's gonna
one
be
chop.
One shot. and he's going to knock the tattoos off his chest. Like, it's going to be ridiculous.
I do feel like though, like the fans who are like diehard Punk fans, I feel like they're not even fans of him anymore. I think they're fans of the idea of who he was or who he was like represented at one point.
Good
so
point.
now it's just like blind like fan, like and
Fandom,
so like
blind fandom,
blind fandom, and it's just like we have to sometimes take a peek back and be like, dude, everywhere you've gone, there's been an issue. Are you the issue? You know?
Yeah. At some point, you are the problem. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate because in AEW, he had some bangers. The dog collar match in MJF comes to mind. You know that that was amazing. So I don't know. I just feel like I want to see a Claymore and a 3 count. That would make me. That would make me very happy.
It would be dope if they did what Moxley did when he just like squashed him in like 2 minutes. Like if they just repeated that and just shocked everybody, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, right.
I mean, listen, we're gonna get the payoff. I mean, Drew can't keep getting screwed like this and no payoff, right?
What do we think is happening with Drew though? Like we're talking about Punk, like he's leaving, he quit. Does he go to TNA or something? Like what's he doing for a little bit before SummerSlam? I guess.
Interesting. Would Drew go over to TNA for a bit?
Oh, that's interesting. You mentioned because they're doing the TNA crossover, so he could just go right back as Drew Galloway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was thinking about that today. I was like, how dope would it be if he just showed up and he literally went by the Drew Galloway name, like to really sell that he's not Drew McIntyre anymore or whatever. That'd be pretty sick.
That'd be pretty sick. Yeah. That's a good point. And on the aside from like kayfabe and all that stuff, I think his wife might be dealing with stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, the rumor, the dirt sheets and all that stuff saying something's going on with his wife and all that stuff. So maybe that's why he's taking a step back for a little bit. So we'll see. I mean, we'll know something. Someone's going to spill the beans, or we'll find out some dirt from somewhere.
Punk's going to be on SmackDown this week too,
SmackDown.
So we'll know more.
We'll know more for sure.
Wait a minute. We're gonna get into it.
It's gonna be
Wait a minute, man.
Lewis doesn't like that.
Oh,
you mean to tell me he couldn't make it to Raw, but he's gonna show up on SmackDown? How convenient! After there was like a mass homicide backstage, and you're gonna show up on Friday Night SmackDown? How convenient, Mr.
He
Punk.
got the tip. Somebody tipped him off. They're like, yo, I heard the Wyatt Sicks is showing up. Don't show up. Like I heard he probably got the word, man. They were like, yo,
he knows about backstage conflict. He was like, nah.
He's like, I created enough smoke. I don't want that kind of smoke.
Nah. Like, I can't choke out the supernatural people like
exactly.
Jungle Boy.
Those mofos wear masks. No, thank you. No way. But that's funny. Man, good stuff. We'll listen. We'll keep an eye out here on the Mark the Wrestling podcast. We'll keep an eye out for Drew and Punk. See where that goes. Maybe Punk might have some answers on SmackDown, or maybe the story continues, or we'll find out.
Prayers to Drew McIntyre's wife.
Yeah, for sure.
For real, man.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens if there's anything even going on. It's all rumor. We don't know. It's all speculation, but we'll figure out and go from there. But I want to get into some AEW. Let's go. So this past Wednesday, we had Dynamite. Good show. And we had the promo between Swerve and Ospreay. And I got to say,
that was good.
I thought it was good. I thought it was real good on both ends. I think towards the end, Ospreay had a little more intensity because it was, he was addressing not talking about my kids, like, so that intense, that fatherly, manly intensity came out. But altogether, I thought it was solid on both ends, man. And then I love the introduction, but with Prince Nana, like, no, we ain't doing this here. Prince Nana is a national treasure. Yeah, he's MVP. He is MVP. He's so good.
Yeah,
he's good on the mic. His facial expressions. He knows where to stand. He knows where to look at the mic. The dance. The Nana. Lewis and I doing the Nana every week. We do the Nana every week. So yeah, man, we do the Nana every week. So that promo. Any thoughts about that promo? Was there a winner? Was there a loser? Or we feel like, this match at Forbidden Door is going to be bananas? And where do they go with it? Does someone win clean here?
Man, I think they did a hell of a job selling the match.
Hell yeah.
But it left me with that big question mark, like who really goes over after, you know, by the way, that line that Will Ospreay said about the hit row,
Oh yeah,
he's like you had a hit row, I had a hit list, and I didn't miss it. Yeah, that was a fire. Like whoever wrote that, props
that
to
was
them.
fire. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's very interesting because I've been thinking about this, and I've shared this on a previous episode. Like, who the hell goes over? Because it's kind of early to take the title off of Swerve, because I feel like Swerve is now just starting to get into his groove as world champion. So do you swipe the what's that term? Swipe the rug from underneath Swerve's feet and just give the title to Ospreay and make it a trilogy of matches heading into All In? Or do you have Swerve retain in like some sort of screwy finish? Not necessarily a heel finish, but it could be like, you know, one of those stupid finishes where one has the submission locked in, but the shoulders are on the mat. So then 1, 2, 3, but at the same time someone's tapping. Yeah, right. I don't know. You can do something like that, but I thought the promo was great. Bully Ray on Busted Radio, I was watching a clip earlier today, and he said that it was a good idea to bring up the son because Bully Ray's not a parent, but he's saying that if I was a parent and someone brought up my kid, you know, I would want to bash their face in. So, you know, Will Ospreay getting up into his face talking about, don't you ever bring my son up again. Swerve brings his son up again, but then Ospreay doesn't really do much. So I agree with Bully Ray on that take where, like, I found that kind of odd. Like, he should just decked him or clotheslined him or did something at that point. But other than that, it was very good.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. How about you, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, it was really good. I do think Ospreay might have had the upper hand in the promo battle, but Swerve held his own as well. I do feel like I don't know, like Swerve sometimes relies on the whole being a mogul thing a little too much for me. So it's like, yeah, you're doing a lot, but okay, your main thing is still wrestling. So like, you make music, you have a podcast, but like your main thing is still wrestling. So let's focus on the wrestling, right? But at the same time, I do like, I agree with what Lewis said about like, if you're gonna say someone's name, their wife and his wife and kid or whatever, and he doesn't put hands on him after, it kind of like defeats the purpose of you being like, don't mention my family, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It does.
I do think though they have established that they're friends in the past, so like maybe that's what's stopping him from like doing that to him. Like, I'm gonna give you a pass this 2 times, but you say it 3 times, I might hit you.
Don't say it again. Yeah. But, one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm having trouble like trying to like book it in my head to see like who's gonna win this match. Like, because we got All In coming up. Obviously, All In's in Wembley. You want Ospreay in a big match. Do you want Ospreay having the championship going into that? Do you want Ospreay challenging for the championship going into that? So like, and then now we also have the Owen Hart tournament, and whoever wins that gets a shot at All In. So
they added that stipulation. Okay.
So for the men and the women, so whoever wins both gets a shot at All In. So I'm thinking Danielson wins the Owen and finally gets that title shot. But who's it going to be against? Is it Swerve or Ospreay, right? So like,
interesting, because they've done the Ospreay Danielson already.
Yeah, they did, but it was such a good match.
I don't think they
want to do it twice.
I don't know if they're going to rerun that in All In, man. Not for the like. I think they want to go. If I'm thinking like Tony Khan, he wants to go with the biggest, freshest match to be to end his big pay-per-view. You know what's funny also, and remember during that show in Dynamite, we finally got a run-in stare down with MJF and Ospreay.
Very true.
We finally got that move, which I really enjoyed. I like that. I like that AEW is throwing in like, okay, some multiple storylines here. This is coming up. Like,
that was very unexpected.
Yeah. So honestly, man, you can't have Swerve get beat clean. Number one, not against Ospreay. It would be insulting if I'm Swerve. I'm not gonna I can't lose clean this quick. I'm sorry, not even to your biggest babyface.
We also got the Don Callis mention during the Don
Callis the Don Callis mention. I think what happens is I think Swerve wins. How, I don't know, but I think Swerve goes over, And I think, like Lewis, I think you mentioned that this ends up being some sort of trilogy or maybe 2 matches, and then Ospreay finally gets it in Wembley. To me, right now, with Ospreay being pictured or seen as the big time babyface for your company, it would only make sense for him to go over big time in England, in Wembley. But then now you have the injection of MJF back. He doesn't need a title to be fair. So I'm not even gonna put MJF in the title picture right now. I think they might run this back. I think this might be the match they actually do twice. I think they might. I just don't know how you do it where Swerve doesn't get impacted. Like, he can't lose it this early. So man, I don't know.
They did release the bracket for the Owen Hart, and there's a wild card.
The wild card.
Ospreay's not in the Owen yet, but he could end up being that wild card and winning it all.
If he won it, then that could be the door back into facing Swerve again.
Do we think that Swerve is turning heel? Because that was very heelish at the end of that promo, calling out his family again. Are we getting a little bit of heel Swerve?
Heel Swerve is great. That stuff that he was doing with Hangman was terrific.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like the story, the way I've been seeing Swerve, because Swerve has been like my favorite wrestlers for the past like year. So I've been like watching closely to his character and how he's developing it, and you could tell that he's really developing his character. Yeah. He spoke about it, I think, on his podcast that he spoke with Edge, or the artist formerly known as Edge. as soon as he showed up in AEW, and like he locked in with him, and like they text all the time supposedly about how to like make his character special and stuff. So I think the story of Swerve is that he did everything he could to get that championship, right? Like so I feel like, is he gonna do anything he can to keep that championship, which means maybe doing something to Will Ospreay that he wouldn't do as a babyface.
Some Nature Boy type tactics, huh?
Yeah. Because when he took yesterday during the promo battle, he took off the shades and he was like, "Look what it did to me," and he has like the rings around his eyes that he's been doing, like that weird makeup that he's been doing. But I think he's trying to show like, I'm not sleeping, I'm going crazy for this title, right? So like, I wonder if that's where it ends up being. Maybe he joins Don Callis. Something like that.
Joe, good point, because I was very curious about that damn makeup right? He was wearing. I was like, yo, what's up with your boys? He looks like a straight up crackhead. Like, what do you do? Like,
that's what he's going for.
What do you do? Like, what is I was hoping that was just makeup. I was like, yo, bro, you need to get some sleep, homie. It's not like you're on the road for wrestling every week. So I mean, so what's going on? I was very curious about that makeup. Thanks for bringing that up.
Now, props to Streaming Joe for that attention to detail.
Yeah, that was big.
That reminds us fans that this is the same person who broke into another man's house and taunted the baby in the crib.
We started cheering him, but he's always been an asshole. We just started cheering him.
Could that wild card be a Hangman?
Ooh. That's a good call.
You know what? Hangman, I forgot. Hangman's been out of the picture for quite some time now.
Yeah, Hangman Swerve at Wembley.
Hangman Swerve at Wembley?
Oh man!
But see, then where do you place Ospreay?
I mean, Ospreay still has a title too. We haven't even spoken. Ospreay has a title. He needs to defend that.
No one cares about that title, man.
I mean, what if we get Ospreay MJF for the international title? That could be a thing.
That's whack.
I don't like
I don't want to see it for like
a downgrade for both of them.
It's like they're fighting for like the bootleg Intercontinental title. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of wish that this match at Forbidden Door was for both, like so that they could just unify them and get rid of, because there's like too many belts.
Yeah, man.
With the Continental, the International, and the TNT. Like, why do you have 3 mid-card belts? Like,
I know. We spoke about that on the previous episode too. Like, they got to consolidate some of these belts, because it's just it's too much, man. It's hard to keep up with. Like, what's the difference between the International Championship and the Continental Championship?
Nothing.
None. Other than one was created, you're right, out of a tournament. But like if you think about the casual fan, if I'm just watching, like, okay, wait, there's a Continental champion and there's a There's an international champion. So what's the difference? Oh, and there's a world heavyweight champ.
Doesn't
So
make
what's
no
the
sense.
TNT championship.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
doesn't make
saying?
any damn
Like
sense.
the TNT and TBS titles, I get it because it's like you're the network's champion.
Yeah.
But you essentially have 3 world titles.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it just how do you
It's way too
differentiate the
much.
two?
Way too
I think
much.
it would work if they actually had like a brand split, and it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
Collision had its own, and maybe that was what they were thinking at one point, but then Punk and everything messed up a lot.
Punk messed it up because that was the plan.
Because they
It
did
was a
have
plan
the real world title, remember, with the spray paint that he did?
Oh,
which,
yeah.
which is
Who could
crazy that he
forget
got
that?
away with that. It's crazy.
Yeah, the
he
real
literally
world
shitted
title.
on the company on his way out and then spray painted over the
Unbelievable.
They
went
literally
murder, bro.
I know they
Unbelievable.
launched a second show for him.
For Punk.
And then he spray painted their world title with an X, and they blatantly put it on live TV for their first episode of that show.
Oh my god.
Yo, that is wild, man. The disrespect that Punk has done. He's basically put Tony Khan over his knee and just spanking him. Like, just spanking him. Like,
And he got paid for it.
And he got paid for it.
He got paid millions for
Lots of money.
I know,
Lots
right?
of money just to
Oh,
get
man.
spanked.
He
Like,
is my hero, actually.
wild the way he got.
This is why Punk is so polarizing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
fellas, I wanted to point out something interesting because perception is reality, right?
Mhm.
So I'm watching the promo because I didn't really get to see Dynamite in its entirety, so I was just catching up on YouTube clips. And shout out to their YouTube channel because it has like a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
But in any case, that's how I was watching the promo between Swerve and Will Ospreay. I got Karen right next to me, and I was like, all right, I want you to just stop what you're doing. Just take a look at a few minutes of this promo because she doesn't watch wrestling, right? But if she was to watch it casually, like she kind of knows the characters and things like that through me, unfortunately, because I torture her. But I asked her this pivotal question because she's essentially, those are casual eyes. Who comes across as the bigger star, Swerve or Ospreay? She takes a second and she says, Swerve. And I was like, why? Explain to me why he comes across as the bigger star. And I'm like, don't forget that he has the belt. Well, they both have belts, but forget that. She's like, well, because he's got swag. I can kind of see his charisma a little bit. And he just looks like a bigger star than the other guy, the white guy.
Mhm.
That's something very interesting. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because AEW has had this has been a challenge, right? With creating stars that appeal to the casual viewer rather than a star that only appeals to the smarks, the marks, the indie fans and shit like that. So I found that very interesting.
That's very interesting.
good-
I'm going to do that same test. I'm going to
Yes,
do that same
please. Yo, get your wives. Sit down with your wives and just
test. I'm going to do that same test.
During any promo. It could be a woman's promo, anything, like who comes across as the bigger star.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Lewis. I'm going to film Kate doing that. I'm going to film.
It's actually that's good content for the IG page.
Yeah, I'm going to put that. I'm going to put that on the IG page.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to do that.
That's a great shout out right there because the Swerve has been bringing that belt everywhere and kind of you see him in pictures with Rick Ross, you see him in pictures.
Word.
Yeah, and now he even you could tell that he's definitely putting it in somewhere that they didn't know they could reach. Like a different audience, younger audience, cooler audience. They're trying to go for that edgier thing. That's been AEW's thing from the get. We're edgier. We have blood. The women bleed here. All this stuff, right? So I think it's showing that we got this cool guy who's also a musician. He's cool with all these artists, and then you also have Mercedes Moné as a champion now, who's an actress and doing on red carpets. So maybe you're right. Maybe because if you think about it, where do they go if Will Ospreay wins the belt? What do you really do with him after?
Joe, that kind of leads into the main event of this episode on the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Now, Lewis brought this great topic up, and it's funny because after you brought that up, Lewis, I've been hearing a lot of podcasts also talking about this topic now. And is a long-term babyface champion still viable with today's wrestling audience?
Streaming Joe shaking his head.
And I was listening to
That shit's
Busted
boring.
Open. I was listening to Wade Keller and all these guys. and they were making some good points. And I watched the second episode of Who Killed WCW, and Kevin Nash says the money is in the babyface's chase of the championship, not the holding of it. And I couldn't have agreed more, because I think this Cody championship run has been lukewarm at best. Lukewarm. He's still over with the crowd. They love the song. It's probably listen, I love Cody. I think a good chunk of it is the song. I'm sorry. I think the good chunk of it is the pomp and circumstance and the song. But it's just been kind of What do you guys think?
No, well, I agree. But I'll let Lewis speak first because it was his topic. But
yeah,
listen, this topic has been on my mind a lot because it's been bugging me over the last few years. Actually, Wrestling 101. It's so funny because I was watching the Who Killed WCW docu-series, right? And Kevin Nash says literally the same thing that I had just said a week ago. Wrestling 101, the money is in the chase. That's like from the beginning of pro wrestling as an art form. You know, you got the quintessential babyface chasing the villain. Now, unless it's like Attitude Era levels of popularity or even Hogan, like during Hulkamania, it is very, very, very difficult to sustain love and momentum as a babyface champion for more than a couple of months. You know, you gotta be like Austin, Rock, Hogan during the height of Hulkamania. You gotta be someone like that. Even like a John Cena or Batista, if you will. But the babyface champion, especially in this decade, in this time period, a long-term babyface, especially world champion, does not work. Quixote, classic example, 4 or 5 years ago, when Becky was at the top of the wrestling industry, forget the women's division, when she was holding the belts, you started to gradually see that she was becoming very stale with the belts. And we wanted to just have her drop the belt. Yeah. Then the same thing happened with Drew when he was the champion. It's like you can't have a babyface be fresh holding the belt because there's not as much to cheer for. Yes, you're happy that the most beloved character on the roster has the belt, but what are you essentially cheering for? You know what I mean? Yeah. So when you have the top babyface chasing the villain instead, the villain, the heel, can always have the belt for months and months and months and months because you pay to see the heel get his ass whooped or get her ass whooped and drop the belt. Cody finished the story. Hooray, one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen as a wrestling fan. I was literally tearing up. Fast forward a week later, 2 weeks later, it's like, okay, he's got the belt now, but like what?
Now what? Yeah, now what?
Now what? You know what I mean? Now what? So, and it's not Cody's fault. Cody is great. He's great at what he does. He's a natural babyface, but I think he's better off dropping the belt at SummerSlam, I don't think he'll drop it at Money in the Bank, but I don't think he should go past July or August as champion. I think he should just go back on the take.
That's a big take
on the chase.
That's a big take, Lewis. So you're saying he should drop no later than SummerSlam?
Yes, my man, because at that point he would have already had the belt for 4 months. That's too long for a babyface. Too long.
Man.
He's not The Rock. He's not Stone Cold. You know what I mean? Like John Cena, somebody like that.
And if you're Triple H and you're old school thinking, he should know this. Like, he's boys with Kevin. Like, he knows this. He's got to know this. And I think he's just doing this because this story was so big. Like, he had to. Like, you have to let Cody run with it for a while. Like, but I agree with you, Lewis. I don't think it should be a long-term. It should be nothing close to a Roman Reigns run. I think this run is late. Like, if they go past SummerSlam, latest like October, bro. Like they can't go past. I think that's even a lot.
That sounds like a drag. Yeah,
it is a drag.
That's
but,
pushing it.
But I mean, I don't know who he would even drop it to like right now. There's no legit stories that they have him even lined up with. There's no contenders that even mean anything. Like I just wonder where they're gonna go. Joe, what do you think of the whole thing?
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I think in general, title belts are being held way too long nowadays. Like, I'm an Attitude Era kid. I like when the titles were swapping. I like
that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun, and it made people champions that you never thought would be champions, like Mick Foley winning a championship, even if it was combined like 20 days, all his championship runs, whatever. Like, it's still cool that he had a WWF championship. Like, Sami Zayn should have been a champion by now.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
It makes so much sense instead of winning the Intercontinental belt over Gunther, and nothing has really happened. Even he's holding the belt too long, in my opinion. Like, Chad Gable could have beat him. Like, there's like a lot of these, like, I don't know what it is. Ever since Roman with the longest title reign, whatever he had, everyone has held the title way too long. Even like a Bailey is getting stale, which sucks because it was so fun to see her win that championship. But then they I feel like they've given these baby faces these big championship moments and then didn't have any plans for it after. So now they've just been like chilling and not having any true storyline. The AJ Styles storyline is cool, but at the end of the day, it's like, all right, now what? You had 2 matches with AJ. Where are you going next? Now they're like teasing the solo Cody match, which I don't really care for. Yeah. So it's like, what are you going to do? And then I feel like if you look around, like even in NXT, Trick Williams, the chase was so much better than even his title run now. And it's kind of like, I feel like you get into that John Cena booking where it's like they just get the new villain of the month type, like Power Rangers type, where every episode was a new villain.
A new villain, that's
like true. I remember the dark ages when this is when I stopped watching wrestling for a long time, when John Cena had like Lord Tensai. And then,
my God,
like,
Lord Tensai!
Like, they gave him like literally the monster of the week he had every single
Lord
week,
Tensai.
And it was just like, Jesus, I can't deal with this long John Cena title run forever where he just beats everybody. He gets beat up once and then he wins the big match at the end of the day anyway. So it's like, that's what they're doing with Cody. And I don't know what it is about Cody that's been bothering me lately, and maybe I'm a hater.
No, but speak your truth, man.
Talk your shit, man. This gonna go viral.
I've been waiting for a platform to let this out. So I appreciate you guys for this. But he is literally John Cena light. And I'm not liking that he's John Cena light. He shouldn't be John Cena light. He should be Cody Rhodes. You shouldn't be overcoming the odds every single match. He got almost like killed by AJ Styles in this match. And then at the end of the day, he was like, should I smash him with the stairs? Like, just smash him with the damn stairs. He was about to hit your moms. Like, he was about to hit your moms in the damn audience. And then you're scared to hit him with the stairs. Just hit him with the stairs. Stop being such a babyface. You could be cool and a babyface. I hate this whole thing of like, I can't be, it's not in my morals to do this. Like, shut up, dude. Like, and I'm hoping that we eventually get that Homelander heel Cody run, but I don't know if he ever wants to do it. But he's so close to it. Like, dude, when he had the stairs, I was like, just smash him. Just do it. They're gonna cheer you anyway, just like that episode of the Boys. I don't know if y'all watched the Boys, but that episode when
I haven't seen season 4.
Yeah, I'm talking about the old season when he lasers the guy in the middle of the street and everybody cheers. I'm like, that was Cody's moment. Smash him with the stairs. They're still gonna cheer you. Like, you are a heel, even though you don't want to be a heel. You're a heel at the end of the day.
That was Cody's Homelander moment.
Yeah, right. And he didn't do it. He hit him on the side instead of like in his face.
Good point, Joe. Joe, good point, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Cody, and it has to happen. I don't want to hear that Cody is against this. Cody needs to be heel, and for a very long. He would be so.
He'd be phenomenal.
Are you
serious?
Heel,
he'd be phenomenal.
He wears suits. He has bleached blonde hair.
Cody is a heel. Like, are you kidding me? Like, 100%. He needs to be that. And there can't be any discussion of like, oh no, I want to be a baby forever like my dad or whatever. No. You need to turn heel. This is what you're doing. It's best for business, and this is what we're doing. But yeah, Cody dropping that belt. I didn't even really think about it till you fellas brought it up. That might need to happen.
Who does he lose it to?
Hey, remember, you got Money in the Bank, right? So someone is gonna cash it in at some point, right? I don't know how soon.
I feel like
Listen,
The Rock is gonna put some. He has to come back at some point, right? The Rock is not done.
I think Jey Uso is winning that Money in the Bank, though.
Ooh.
I think this is Jey Uso's. I think this is what they're giving Jey. They didn't give Jey. They didn't give Jey Rumble. They didn't give Jey a couple of matches that he had to kind of get closer to that title. And I think this is the thank you, Jey. This is good. This is what we're giving you for your hard work.
I might have another controversial take.
I think this is it. Well, what is that?
I do not like Jey Uso.
Wow. Breaking news.
All right. Let me take that back. I like Jey Uso. I don't like the yeet. The yeet is annoying. Is not cool to me. It's very played out. He says yeet.
Yeah, you got some people agreeing with you, Joe. You got some people agreeing with you.
He says yeet way too much.
Yeah.
Every other word is yeet. They're calling it like the yeet case or something. The money in the
stupid.
Yeet, whatever. Yeet. Like,
but Joe, there you go. That is your marketing plan. You're going to sell all those yeet cases.
No.
I am calling it right now on this episode 57.
The yeet case.
The yeet case. Jey Uso is going over simply because of marketing and merch. That is why that they're going to sell the hell out of that case, and Jey Uso is going to win it. That's just he's winning that Money in the Bank.
I can see that. He's on the poster and everything like that. I can see it.
He is winning.
I need him to have more than 3 moves before he wins anything big.
God. You know,
super kick, splash, and Samoan drop. Those are the 3 moves.
Oh wait, he added a whack ass spear too.
Okay. His spear's trash. His spear's trash.
So he has 4 moves now.
Yo, you know what, Joe? Now that you come on the show, you've now made me hate 2 guys I thought I liked. I thought I liked Cody, but now I'm getting annoyed with Cody.
Oh man!
And I thought I liked Jey, but now I'm kind of like, Jey, you pretty whack. You're whack.
I get
Jey.
it. I get it though.
Now I don't like him.
I get the dance. The dance is fun. I'm sure. I haven't been in a live crowd doing the dance. I'm sure I would have a blast doing it.
Yeah.
But like, come on, man. You need more than that. I was hoping that this is another like hater moment, but I was kind of hoping that the Wyatt Sicks was gonna attack him for stealing the fireflies from Wyatt.
Hey, listen, the Wyatt Sicks may just show up on SmackDown and commit another mass murder. And then reclaim their fireflies.
Oh my god! Can you imagine if like Jey was in the back, like they just burned him or some shit, like they put him on fire, like use the those.
And he's still saying "yeet" as his last words.
He's saying "yeet." Yeah. Yo, listen, man, Joe, good controversial takes. Good takes, by the way, because now you made me not like these guys. I gotta now I'm gonna watch them every week and I'm be like,
Listen, controversy sells. We welcome it.
I'm a Jey Uso hater.
So the days of the babyface champion. Okay, let me just roll it back for a second before we end. Can Ospreay in AEW be a credible and effective babyface champion, knowing how he is, his personality, his mic work, his in ring? Can he be the Enigma? Can he be different? Or
no.
So it is across the board. There's nothing. It is across the board. There's nothing.
4 months tops, man.
4 months tops for the babyface.
3 to 4 months, man. 5 if you really want to push it, but.
Okay, so then we saw Swerve win it. When did Swerve win it? In April?
Yeah, so it's been 2 months.
So we're looking at August as his expiration date for that title.
That's a little long, man. That's just the way it is. I don't think there's an exception to this rule, not in this day and age.
You're right.
I think you could hold it longer if you start becoming like a tweener or a heel. So like if Swerve ends up going that path, I could see him holding it longer. But like Lewis said, like we pay, like look at Floyd Mayweather. We pay to watch him lose for the most part. Most people do.
Yeah.
So true. It's the same thing with Roman. Like the big deal, we wanted to see him lose. We don't care about who won it as much as who is gonna beat this heel.
Right.
I think at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to get that big win pop, and then after a while, it's like, all right,
Yeah,
You did
we
that
get the
big win
point.
pop. There's nothing bigger you could do. Like Cody can never top that WrestleMania moment. So what are we doing? What are we
Right.
waiting for?
Damn, you're right, man. You're right.
The final boss is gonna come back and shove his foot up his ass. That's what's gonna happen.
So Lewis, that's what I was about to get to. The Rock's got to fit in somewhere. So
He is gonna fit in. And we're gonna see Rock versus Cody at WrestleMania 41 in Vegas.
You
That
think
is the
so?
plan.
Wow. You
No,
think so?
I know so. I know
so Rock and
so.
Cody
Wow.
41. Rock and Cody 41, not for a title. Cody's gonna have
Not necessarily for the title, but it will be Rock versus Cody.
You think so? You don't think
40.
Roman?
Nope. Nope. I think that ship is sailed.
Yeah,
Wow.
they the fans messed that up. I'm
No.
pissed off.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
we
pissed
get
off
Rock
about the
Roman.
fans.
I don't
I
think
think
we
we
I
can.
think we get Rock Roman, but not in Vegas. I think the money is in Rock versus Cody because of everything that they already planted.
I don't know.
Remember,
That's
man,
that's money, man.
You got the Netflix dropping in what, January? That big Netflix Raw on Netflix? You need something massive. And I guarantee you that's a Roman or Rock premiere on one of them.
I think
like that's got to be one of them. Roman or Rock.
I think we see Rock maybe take the belt off of Cody, and then we see a babyface Roman
Oh shit.
versus Rock at
Oof.
Vegas.
At 40. Ooh, that's a book. Ooh.
Oh man, we're gonna have to table this
Oh,
discussion.
you just-
This one
Yeah,
one is spicy.
You
This is
just booked
spicy.
that. You
Roman
just booked
finally
that.
becomes the babyface that they've always wanted.
Joe, you
I
just
think that's
booked
what-
that.
Man, Joe, are you submitting your resume to WWE?
I feel like every time I come on this show, I end up booking something that sounds way better
Yo.
than reality. So they should just hire me at this point.
I like
should.
that. That makes massive sense. Time-wise,
It does.
timeline. What?
I don't know
Wow.
where you have Cody lose to Rock though. Maybe that first Raw, or whatever.
That first
on
Raw,
Netflix.
man. They're going
But
to
then
treat
Cody,
that first.
Cody's a SmackDown guy. But you know they'll finesse it
Oh,
somehow.
that doesn't even matter. That first Raw is going
Yeah.
to be treated like
Yeah.
it's like you're watching a PLE. Like it's going to be massive because at that point, no training wheels. They could do whatever
They could
the
do whatever they
hell
want.
they want.
We
And I
should do
think
a
we're
whole
starting-
episode about
Yeah.
this subject right here because there's so much that we got to talk about with the new Samoans popping out every week. And all
Yeah. Yep,
where
the
does that
news-
lead to?
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of cards that they've been throwing out there. So I'm sure there's a huge plan that they're planning.
That's a big one. Guys, this has been a heck of a show. This is on the Mark Wrestling Podcast, episode 57. Joe, thank you for streaming. Joe, thank you for joining.
Thank you guys, man.
us.
I
This
really
has been-
appreciate it.
This has been fun. This has been insightful. I know where you stand now with certain wrestlers, man. This is you've now opened my eyes. I think
You gotta clip out those hater segments.
Oh, no, I'm gonna keep
Controversy
those in.
sells.
I'm keeping those in. those are staying in. But listen, guys, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. We're building the platform, the brand. So every week we're trying to just get stuff out there, man. So join us, share, all that good stuff. Lewis, any final words?
Well, I'm going to my first GCW event.
Ooh,
They're coming to Houston next weekend. So
GCW?
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
and you were mentioning Samoans popping up every week, so I'll get to see Zilla Fatu.
Zilla Fatu. Nice.
He's the Usos' brother.
he's the
Is
young one.
Yeah,
right?
he's the youngest
one.
one.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the youngest.
Yeah. So I'll be
Nice.
posting up clips.
Post those clips
Next week. Yeah.
Are you close? Maybe you could get Samoan spiked or something. Maybe you could.
I hope they land right on top of me. But that should be
Nice.
fun.
Nice, man. Joe, any words? Any you want people to follow
Yeah.
you? What's going on, man?
I mean, speaking of going to wrestling events, Dynamite is in Buffalo next week, and I might be taking that trip up there to catch that go home show before Forbidden Door. So that'd be cool.
Ooh, that'd be
Nice.
nice. Yeah,
I'm waiting
yeah.
to see if I can get a cheap ticket because usually if you wait till like the day, pro tip to everybody, if you wait till like the day of or day before for AEW shows, especially, you get like floor seats for like $35.
Exactly.
You cracked the code.
I got collision tickets when they were in Foxwoods in Connecticut, and that was the MJF versus Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega. Ooh,
And
man.
my seats were ridiculous. I waited the night of, like 3 hours before the show. $40.
Yeah.
Nice.
Crack the code, yo.
I got
Oh
last
my
year.
God.
Last year I went to Forbidden Door in Toronto, and I got the day of. I got floor seats, like maybe 5 rows back for like I think like 96 bucks or something like that.
I'll pay
And
for that.
I was literally right where Moxley and the BCC come out of. So
Get
I
out
was
of
like right next to them when they came out of the tunnel. I was like, oh, this is